Disclaimer before we get started with this book. This book was last published in 2003 and most likely will not be updated again. This book does not belong to me. It has 78 parts and it is by Belongs to Bakugou on Wattpad. Prologue. There's nothing crueler than letting a dream end midway. The morning sun shone through the moth-eaten curtains of your small bedroom, the dust particles in the air dancing around without direction. As you opened up your eyes, you blinked, taking in your surroundings as you woke up before yawning and sliding under the covers. A tired voice called to you behind a wooden door. The owner of the voice, knocking to gain your attention. "Come on now, kiddo, wake up. You need to get ready." Yeah, I'm coming." You groaned and sat up, clearly pushing your hair back and trying to hide the behead that you were sporting. "What time is it?" You stumbled out of bed and began your very early morning routine, using the cracked mirror hanging on the wall as you changed into the outfit you had picked out days before. Today was the day, wasn't it? You tied your boots, flipped out your skirt, flattening your jacket as you styled your hair, and grabbed your bag, sliding it to your own shoulder. "YN, I'm coming!" Sulong opened the door with a huff, your siblings climbing down the hallway to try to tackle you, but you quickly dodged, jumping over one of them and spinning out of the reach of another, before being grabbed from behind by the third. You growled and tried to fight them off, the little leeches only leaving you alone once your stern mother calls out. "Leave YN alone today, children. She's going on a journey and it will be stressful." "How long are you going to be gone? Are you going to die?" "I hope so." You sat down at the table with a sigh, and thanked your mother, as she handed you a plate and a bowl, filled to the brim with steaming soup and different foods. Your father sat down adjacent to you, sipping on what he called his wake-up juice, but you knew where Lily was. The smell always gave it away, but only to the oldest kids. "I still think the blacksmith's son should be accompanying you, kiddo. Even down south can be dangerous, you know." "I can do it alone, father. I don't need a guide or some stupid babysitter. I'm not a kid anymore." You picked up your food and shook your head, apologizing for the attitude as your father only chuckled and shook his head back. No, you're right. You're not a child anymore. So maybe you should find your own house to live in and start looking for a husband." "What?" you said. You punched his shoulder and growled, making him laugh even more as he ruffled your hair. Your mother chuckled and looked out the window at the rising sun, her eyes watering slightly as she turned around and hugged herself. "You're growing up so fast, but please, don't forget that you're still human." "I won't, Mother." You got to your feet and maneuvered around the table, offering your open arms and pulling your mother into a hug. She cried quietly and hugged you back, going over little rules and guidelines for your journey ahead. "Nothing dangerous. I know. Don't talk to strangers. Unless you need to. Of course. Eat a meal every day. Mother, the trip is only a few days." She prattled on, making you roll your eyes with each increasing rule. You slowly began to make faces on her shoulder, teasing her as your father held back his laughter. Your siblings, however, howled and giggled as you pretended to scold them, your mother eventually catching on and scolding you for real. "But seriously, no getting sidetracked. Father, you have always been curious, and that has always led you to wander. Why do you think I didn't take you hunting for so many years?" Well, a knock from the front door pounded, interrupting your family as your mother brushed herself off and hurried across the room, opening the door. Mayor?" "Hello, Mrs. YN. Is YN still here?" She nodded slowly and stepped to the side. Both you and your father came to the door as the village elder came into view. "Hello, YN." You stepped onto your porch, squinting in the sunlight as the leader of your village, the village elder, and a few other neighboring adults surrounded your front door. "We knew you'd be leaving today, and we wanted to see you go. You're doing a great thing for eBay, traveling to Gentford for the sake of our safety." The group bowed in unison, making you smile awkwardly, before bowing back. Thanking the crowd for coming to see you off, you waved your hands as they offered your gifts and meals to your family, your parents and siblings quickly aiding you in collecting each gift. A sharp pain in your ankle made you hiss as you looked down, seeing a cane from the village elder whack against your boot. She smiled at you and pulled you close, yanking you down to her hunching eye level, before handing you a small scroll. "Here's a map of the country. The only thing that isn't on the map is the capital, but you need that anyway. Take it with you, but return it when you come home." "I will. Thank you." You hugged the elderly woman and thanked everyone again, smiling and nodding as they eventually dispersed. With a sigh of relief, you leaned on the doorway and stared out down the main road, your eyes traveling down the path and towards the hill that surrounded your village. Over those hills was freedom. something you and your people haven't seen in a very long time. You will be safe, right, YN? You leaned your head over lazily to look at your parents, nodding as their eyes were filled with worry. You tried to reassure them, but you knew that as parents they would never truly be relieved until you come home. I will travel to Kennethburn as the representative of eBay. I will ask for their help, offer what we can in exchange for their support, and then come straight home. No sidetracking, no misadventures, and no wandering. Your father wrapped his arm around your mother's shoulders, hugging her as his side as he nodded to you. You shouldn't even come across anyone between and their Kennethburn, but if you do, remember, I'm just a traveler. I'm not EBN. I know. What a stupid rule. You hated having to hide your identity. Being so far south, how could anyone not expect to run into an avian? It had been generations since the Great War. It had been over a century since your people had been exiled by the Oak Tomato. Your residing country, this new war, however, began to crush your village. Even with your people having no connection to the country anymore, why did you have to suffer for a country that didn't even want to believe in you anymore? You hugged each member of your family in order, reminding your siblings to take care of each other and to look out for your parents. You ruffled the hair of the second oldest, giving them the power of being in charge now, which generally sent the three children scrambling back into the house, shouting and fighting after each other. You hugged your parents one final time and repeated your words from the beginning, promising to be safe, that you would see them again within the month. With your last goodbyes, you jumped into the gravel street and stretched your arms, waving to your parents from the small home within your village. You walked along the path, waving goodbye to the neighbors and some of the children from the village, parting ways in the beginning of your trek up one of the Stevians Hill. You prayed you looked like a hero to anyone watching you leave, the comments immediately turning into shame as you stumbled over a small rock in the dirt. You tried to gain your balance, huffing and brushing yourself off as you turn around, looking down at eBay behind you. Someday, you'll be free, eBay. You turned back around, slid down the hills, climbing up another and down yet another, instantly regretting the hills from afar as you gasped for air. Eventually, you came across a flattened area of land, a road sign with your own village etched out and burned to hide its existence. The only sign showing an ounce of eligibility was, as you had hoped, Kennethburn. Okay, let's go.